mathematical approach. You derive the multiplier, you analyze what happens to AE, you analyze the behavior. Okay, again, this is method 1, analysis plus maths. Okay, showing you again alternative method 2. Okay, this is method 2. This is analysis with diagram. Okay, and this, okay, is usually used in section B, not for section A. It's too tedious. Okay, so you can use the mathematical method for section A because 5 marks. Right, you want to straight away answer the question. But for section B, section B, the long question, then you use graphical approach. Okay, right? But when you use graphical approach, you must be very careful. To tell you this whole thing, it's only 2 marks. Right? Okay. So, but examiners sometimes will say explain the process. So you have to still study. Okay. So let me teach you how to read this diagram. You start at point A first. Bring it down. Y1. Because you can call this AE not, if you're not familiar. This is AE1. So you are at point A because AS equals to AE at point A, income Y1. Right? And then you have your A bar naught. So that was your initial equilibrium income. So every time when you draw diagram, you must have initial equilibrium point. Right? So this is already described in your notes. Okay? So once again, right, you want to look at things that goes from left to right. So you let A bar goes up. Okay? So you know in this case, vertical intercept of AE will increase. So you can see you have A bar 1. So that was your step 1. So you let, for example, investment goes up. Or you can discuss China's one-child policy, right? C naught goes up. Okay, so intuitively, it simply just means your AE goes from A naught bar to A1 bar. Alright, so you go from point, alright, BA to B. Alright, you only go from A to B. But if you actually look at the diagram very carefully, point B is not equilibrium income. Right? Equilibrium income, if you actually look at it, is here. So you need to explain this entire process. How come there was a continuous change in income? How come it didn't stop at B? It ended at A1. So this entire process, A to B, B to C, etc., is then the multiplier process. Alright, so when you explain that process in words, it's more tedious. So step 1, increase. Alright, one more time here. A bar goes up. So you go from B, or should I say A to B first. Okay, your A bar goes up. Okay, now step 2 was like this. If A bar goes up, AE increases. But if AE goes up, firms must produce more. And therefore, income will increase. See carefully, step 2 is here. It was from B to C. So A to B was increase in A bar. But firms have to produce more. Income goes up. So this is your step 2. Now, if you're not comfortable doing step 2, you can also do A to C. It's the same. So you can say A to B to C, or you can also say A to C. Because A to C is on the AS curve. So some people can see AS better. They are the same. You can say B to C, income goes up. Or you can say A to C, AS goes up. Right? Okay? But it doesn't end there. Because if income goes up, step 3, C1Y goes up, C goes up, AE goes up. Alright? Which is here. You go from C to D. But there's something you need to take note. Right? We are moving along the diagram, but, okay, I'll put here at the side note for you. Okay? when you go from C to D, it is much lesser than A to B. Because C1 is less than 1. Right? When initially you go from A to B, it was A bar. Right? Lump sum investment goes up. But when you go from C to D, it was due to consumption. But consumption only increased by a fraction of the income. Right? So it's not because the diagram says so. Again, there was an economic behavior. Okay? Therefore, right, you could see your AE goes up and then you repeat again. Right? You literally repeat step 2 to 3 again. Right? What would the firms do? The diagram gets very small, but you can see. Right? The firms will increase income again because the firm will produce more. What will we do? We will spend again. But the amount gets smaller and smaller. Right? And then step 5 is, right, we will end at point A1. So it is not an infinite process. The process will get smaller and smaller until there's no change. That will be at A1. That is your step 5. So I don't want to put in the numbering or else it gets messy. But when you do diagrammatic approach, right, it's not draw and say A1 goes A goes to A1. It's not. It's A1, or should I say A goes to B. Then you have to explain that triangle. Right? Okay? And then therefore you can see at point A1, when you bring it down, that's your Y2. This amount is change in Y. And diagrammatically, you can see it's definitely more than change in A bar. So the process of point A to A1 is called multiplier process. Okay, right? So it's not easy, but don't focus too much on this. Right?